Hey, I've been having some technical difficulties. But hello, WW. Thanks for being here. The technical difficulty is there's something wrong with my stupid phone here. And the stupid phone is where I do the live streams from. And for some reason, it won't let me go to horizontal mode. And the reason why that's kind of important is because when I'm at home here, I use this little tripod thing to put the phone in so I don't have to just hold it the whole time. And it really doesn't work for this vertical, this thing is like a spring loaded thing. I don't think I could, yeah, see, it won't go far enough for me to get it to be able to put it in there. So I don't have another stand. I tried to, I tried to I did not a reboot, but I did like an update. There was an update. I did the update just now. I thought maybe that would do it. I shut the phone off, restarted the phone, all that kind of stuff. And for some reason it won't go to horizontal mode, which really sucks. So that means I got to hold this phone the whole time. Hey, there's Jolie. All right, so Jolie popped in here. I mean, WW's here. And so it kind of sucks. I got to hold this thing the whole goddamn time. Why do things have to like break or not work? It really upsets me. So I don't have any way to, to set this stupid phone on. It won't go to horizontal. See, I mean, I don't think it is, right? Like when I do this, because it says orientation is locked, rotate device back. I'm just waiting to see what happens. Yeah, see, it's just like sideways. So, WW says, I have an icon that controls whether or not the orientation freezes. Whether or not it freezes? Yeah, I don't know if I've hit some button somewhere, that won't allow me to do that. I don't know what's going on. I really, really, really don't. It sucks. I hate it. I'm angry. I'm very, very angry right now. I gotta go and do something. I gotta get something for my eyes. I'm just trying to set this here. I don't know. Just set it there. I'll be right back. All right, so, oh boy. Did you guys see my messy kitchen? I had breakfast and I haven't cleaned up since I had breakfast. I usually get everything cleaned up. Anyhow, so here we are. It's December 28th. We're almost at New Year's. This might be the last show of the year. I might do one over the weekend, maybe an impromptu, sometime over the weekend, maybe on the Strip or somewhere near the Strip, and maybe we can watch some of the festivities going on down there. It can get pretty wild down there, so maybe I'll find a good spot. Other than that, I don't have any plans for myself. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to go party, anything of that nature. I'm just going to hang out, I guess. So, W says says in settings, lock home screen. Rotate to landscape mode. Turn off lock home screen. Turn on rotate. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I've never touched that shit. It's always worked before, so I don't know why it's not working now. W got a new toilet. Well, congratulations. W is just waiting for the guy to tell me when he can help me install. Toilets are pretty easy to install, but unless you got, I don't know, some super fancy one. Anyhow, for now, I guess I'll just leave it like this, and then I'll go back and I'll check that thing you were talking about. I don't think I even have been into the lock home screen thing. I don't rotate to landscape mode. I'll have to mess with that later because now we're doing this. So, but yeah, I'll see if, if that works or not. WW says heavy, 105 pounds, can't carry it to the basement. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess it's all porcelain, right? It can be pretty heavy. Yeah. Yeah, wait for your help. So you don't throw out your back or anything like that. Yep. I'm watching Tony Michaels right now. Also, Wes, I got him on the TV. It's been a pretty good show. I like Tony Michaels, I guess, but I figured I'd go live. We all have multiple devices, that kind of stuff. Oh, Jolie says, be right back. All right, Jolie. Well, anywho, let's see. So what's going on? It's 28th. We're almost on New Year's Eve. The year is almost gone. Can you guys believe the whole year's already gone by? We always say that, though, every year, don't we? Every year we say that. Hey, there's Elizabeth. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Same to you, right back at you. Especially Happy New Year, because Christmas is over now. But hope you had a good one. And I hope you have a good New Year's Eve and a great New Year. May 2024, we always hope for a better year, it seems like, than the one we just had. Even if it was a decent year. But a lot of shit going down for a lot of people here. We still got Ukraine being, invaded by Russia, and fighting in Gaza. That's pretty horrible. There's fighting I guess, in Yemen too, right, or whatever. A lot of shit going on. A lot of homeless people having problems. So hopefully the new year will bring resolutions to those conflicts, and hopefully people who are homeless can get into homes and shelters and be taken care of. Things of this nature. Hey, Benny Loco. Got Benny Loco. Happy Thursday. Y'all can't stay modding at Midas in 2 minutes, but I wanted to stop for hugs. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hugs back at you. And have a happy new year as we are coming upon that time. Elizabeth says, morning. WW says, Christmas has just begun. It will not end until the 6th of January when the Orthodox celebrate. Okay. W says, Benny Loco. And Elizabeth says, hope springs eternal. Yep, we can always just hope for the best, hope for peace, and hope for care, right? And love. We see homeless people. I see them out every day, and when I'm driving, and I just, I feel bad because I'm like, I wish there was something I could do. What can I do? I mean, sometimes maybe you give somebody a couple bucks or something, but then you just think, oh, they're just going to use that for drugs or booze. But then I'm like, well, that's up to them, so whatever they do with that. But, there needs to be, I think, from the government, we need to have more help as far as shelters and getting people into whether it's psychiatric help that they need or medical care they need, and then helping to try to get people back to being either productive members of society, or if they are just so out of it, to get them into the care that they need. W says this is the fourth of 12 days. Elizabeth says, I need a home. I'm living in a converted garage. Yeah. And hopefully, that's just like a temporary step to getting you into a home, to a home. W says, not supposed to give them cash. Give to homeless shelters. Yeah, I know the thing. But every now and then I do, just because I'm like, oh, But usually I say no. I just say no, sorry, I can't help you. But every now and then I'm like, I just give in, and I'm like, here's a couple bucks or whatever. W says, I live in my basement, but I'm getting a new toilet. Yay! Oh, happy day! A new toilet is on its way. Ooh, that kind of rhymed. Oh, happy day! A new toilet is on its way. Elizabeth says, I have a 3-bedroom house worth of furniture. Wow. Well, Elizabeth, I hope you get things settled and worked out. W says, indoor plumbing. The toilet is in the back of my car. Just waiting for the helper to come. Get it down there, install it. And then you can just poop away and down in your basement. And you don't have to go all the way upstairs. Elizabeth says, I could install that toilet for you, W. Oh, man. So anyhow, as you can see, I'm still coughing. Very proud of myself. W says, I can too, Elizabeth. I just can't carry it. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. Like, I forget that I'm so old sometimes. I'm looking at myself and I see this old man in the video here, in the live stream. So that's a reminder, an instant reminder. But I mean, when I was younger, I mean, I could carry toilets and I could lift them around. There was all kinds of shit I could lift, but I don't think I could now. Even 105 pounds, I don't think I could do. And I mean, I used to be able to lift hundreds of pounds, of shit. So, but we get older, we get weaker. Our backs are out, that kind of shit. So, yeah, wait for the help. Don't strain it. Don't take a chance. WW says, all in one box. I think we might have to open the box and carry it down in pieces. Oh yeah, Jolie says, hey, Elizabeth. Elizabeth says, hey, Jolie. So anywho, I've kind of added to my little backdrop, if you see there. Let's see, what do I got? I got a little thing about 1960, which was the year I was born. I also got a Hot Wheel. Look, it's a Model Y. Actually, it's not a Model 3, but it's a white Model Y. Tesla Hot Wheel. Oh, and I got some of the things I got for Christmas. A hula dashboard girl. And a hand flipping the bird. So I scored at Christmas. Score! Elizabeth says, yep, wait for the help. So, yeah, I hope you guys had a good Christmas. And it's not just about the things you get. It's about, hopefully you spent some time with family. I spent some time with my kids, and that's the most important thing to me. I got to stay with my kids, and see them, and I wish I could stay longer, but I had to come back and get to work. The only thing is, I came back and I didn't work because I just haven't felt right. I just haven't felt good. I felt I'm like I'm weak and tired, and I'm old. I guess I don't know. So actually, I got home, on Tuesday afternoon, and with the idea that I was going to go to work that night, and I just didn't have it in me, man. And then yesterday, I was tired, and I just stayed home. So I haven't worked. I got to get to work. I got to do some work. Maybe today I'll have the energy to go driving or something. But it was great to see you with my kids, and we had this big party, this big Christmas party on Christmas evening, and my daughter's boyfriend. It was basically all his brothers and their wives and kids, and his mom and her boyfriend. So I don't know. I think they're getting pretty serious. I think they wanted the families to meet, or something. And so who knows what's coming up next um, with those two. It sounds like they're getting pretty serious. So might have another wedding in the family here pretty soon. W says, well, let me see. I think I missed something here. I watched my grandson chase himself with his own remote control car. That sounds like fun. WW says, I got a new toilet for Christmas. It has been broken for at least 24 years. Boy, Santa was really slow on getting that to you. WW says, the Mach E is like the Y. Yeah, there's some similarities there. WW says, we have snow. That's cool. That's funny because, I was up in the mountains here for Christmas, and there's no snow. They might get some snow soon. I thought there was a storm coming in, maybe. WW says, where do they live? It's in the mountains in Southern California. I'm not sure. Did you see my live stream on Tuesday? I was driving home from there, from where they're at. It says, wish we had snow. Where are you at, Elizabeth? I always forget. Are you in California or I always get everybody's places mixed up. But if you're near the mountains, you'll be getting some snow probably pretty soon. I think was it 70B2 that's by, was it Oakdale or whatever? Yeah, which is down up on the way to Yosemite. They might be getting some snow this weekend or sometime this week. Because I thought there was a storm coming in. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. There's my LA hat. I've been sporting the Rams hat lately because they're my favorite team. And they need to win out. Actually, they got to beat the Giants this week. And then if they lose to the Niners, they still might make it. But they have to definitely beat the Giants. Elizabeth, yes, 99 corridor between Modesto and Fresno, Merced. Okay, yeah, I know all that stuff. I'm very familiar. I grew up in Southern California. My mom's family were all from Fresno area. Basically Fresno and Clovis. My great grandma lived in what's it called, Farmerville, right? Farmerville, and which is basically pretty close to, I think, Tulare area, right off the 99. And then we even lived in Fresno a couple of different times. Once when I was about 5 or 6, maybe I turned 6. And then again, we moved back to Apple Valley in the desert down in Southern California. And then again when I was about 2010 or so. What year was that? 10, 11. Was up there like in, I guess, third grade or something. Went to Bullard Elementary for that year, and then we moved back to down to Victorville from there, I think. So, so we've driven that 99 back and forth, and then as a truck driver, I drove it a million times. But even before truck driving, of course, going back and forth to visit relatives in Fresno, and and my great great grandma, I called her little grandma because she was short, very wide, but she was short, so she was little grandma. And then my grandma was just Grandma Mary, and she lived in Fresno. So anyhow, we made that run, through all those towns. Uh, and then of course, Modesto and Merced is north of Fresno, but we would go up there too. Um, let's see. WW says I've been there. Elizabeth says I can see the snow on the mountains from here. Oh, so they got a little bit of snow. That's good. WW says on the way from San Francisco to Yosemite, Yosemite, the Yosemite. Didn't Trump say that one time? He's such an idiot. Um, WW says good, cheap vegetables, practically free. Yeah, I guess they have because they grow a lot of stuff through the San Joaquin Valley there, and they have little vegetable stands and stuff along the way. Elizabeth says, "Wow, long time here. My daddy was from San Diego. I like San Diego. I think it's very pretty, and the weather is always great in San Diego. Usually great, but almost always great. Probably might have the best weather in the country is in San Diego. If you like moderate, temperatures that don't get too hot, don't get too cold, for the most part. Sometimes a storm will come through or whatever, but it's really really nice there." WW says I have house all picked out in Malibu when I win the Powerball. Yeah, Malibu's nice. Malibu's up north. Not from San Diego, but it's a little bit north of LA, right? Just north of Santa Monica and all that stuff. Elizabeth said, I love my California. Yeah, I love California too. I don't care what anybody says. I love California, even though they do some screwy shit sometimes. WW says, yep, on the one. Pacific Coast Highway is actually. Anyhow, PCH. Yeah, I think if I won Powerball, I was actually thinking about Malibu also. You know how you fantasize about if you win Powerball, and I was thinking I would like to live. I would probably because I was like, would I just stay in Vegas? But if I had Powerball, I could live anywhere. Why would I stay in Vegas? And I was thinking I'd probably go to Malibu. Malibu was what I came up with too. And and I like Laguna Beach is nice. Down by San Diego and some of those towns just north of San Diego are really nice, right on the beach. So probably anywhere, from Malibu on down, because the further north you go, the colder the water gets. But it's not like I'm going to be in the water a lot at my age. If I was younger, maybe that would mean something. But I can't really see myself always going out swimming. I probably would go, and dip my toes in the water and things of this nature. But I don't see myself doing a lot of body surfing, whatever. But anyhow, it's nice. Yeah, the beach, California beaches are nice. So if I won Powerball, yeah, it would be one of those places that I just mentioned. WW says, I'd settle for Oxnard, Hollywood Beach. Yeah, Oxnard is nice, and like Ventura Beach and all that stuff. It's nice, and we used to go there a lot for family picnics at the Ventura Beach at the park there. I guess it's called Ventura Beach Park, and it's nice. It's really nice. That area does get a lot of fog, though. I've noticed over the years. Elizabeth says I lived on PCH when I lived in Santa Cruz. Oh yeah, Santa Cruz up by the Bay Area. And that's another nice area too. So I mean, I was saying Malibu and everything south, but yeah, Santa Cruz is nice too. And there are some nice places up there. It just gets, I think it's just a little colder, you know. But they do have nice summers. Hey, there's little Jimmy. How is it like in America? We're hanging in there, man. We're hanging in there. How you doing, little Jimmy? Where are you from? I know it looks like a flag on your icon. I'm not sure what that flag is. So where are you from, little Jimmy? And how is it like where you're at? Thanks for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for me. Like and subscribe would be great. But we're doing all right here in America. I mean, right here in Las Vegas, it's nice and sunny. It is right now 57 degrees. We're going to have a high of 63 today and a low of 40. So we're looking good. I'm not sure what it's going to be on New Year's Eve. I haven't really checked the New Year's Eve forecast. But if the low is 40, that's a warm New Year's Eve because I've been here where it's been in the 20s for New Year's Eve. I mean, you absolutely freeze your nuts off. They just freeze right off. So if it only gets down to 40 on New Year's Eve, that's warmer than usual, definitely. WW says they shoot rockets from Mugu. Yeah, what's that place called? But they have that, and you see the rockets, and you can see them all the way from the desert. You know the trails it leaves, because we've seen those. Yeah, and we're like, yeah, they shot some more rockets off. Elizabeth says, Santa Cruz, you have giant redwoods. Oh yeah, and mountains next to the beach. Yeah, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. W says it's expensive too. Yeah, and almost anything at the coast is going to be expensive. Even Oxnard. You know, like, Malibu is probably more expensive than Oxnard, but anything on the coast is going to be more expensive than the desert. That's why I lived in the desert my whole life because couldn't afford the beach. Elizabeth says beautiful, little Jimmy. WW says I don't like San Francisco at all. The times I've been there visiting and vacationing, I enjoyed it, but it's been a long, long time, really. Probably not since late 80s or early 90s. So, I always hear stuff now about people complaining about homeless people shitting and all that kind of shit. So, I don't know. WW says snow in Rockford, Illinois. Little Jimmy is not from here. No, he's from Jordan, Palestine. Oh, wow. Well, little Jimmy, hope you're safe and doing well. Stay out of the way of the bullets and the bombs out there. Elizabeth says Palestine. WW says God bless Gaza. Elizabeth says God be with you, little Jimmy. WW says Wainimi, Port Wainimi. Yeah, okay. Elizabeth says, and that's over there by Oxnard. Elizabeth says my grandmother lived in Pacific Palisades. That's a nice area. WW says Paris, so overrated, laughing out loud. I would like to see Paris just to see it. My kids saw it. They went back with their mom. I don't know, they had like some sort of. They got tickets through some sort of school outing thing, I think, or something, and they saw like a bunch of stuff. They saw like France, and I think they went to Italy, and Germany, a bunch of places, a bunch of countries, and it was a great trip that they were able to go on. Elizabeth is saying something in French, and sometimes the S's aren't pronounced in French. It might be mais oui. I don't know. W says Huma. No, it's Wainimi. Port Wainimi. I don't know what you're talking about. W. W says may we. Elizabeth says my cousin still lives in San Gabriel. San Gabriel? I know the San Gabriel Mountains by LA. I'm not sure. What is there a town by along the 210 freeway there, or was this some other place? W says I was in Paris for 10 days and did not want to leave. But weren't you just saying overrated? Hiumu. I don't know what you're saying. No, it's Poiwanimi. Elizabeth says yes. Yeah, yes, about the 210 freeway over there by you know, well, near Beer Bank. Hey, I'd like to live in Beer Bank. WW says where they shoot the rog. It's Port Hueneme. You're saying it wrong. You're from Illinois. You don't know. I'm from California. We know how to say it. Port Hueneme. They. They what? But yeah, San Gabriel over by Pasadena and Sierra Madre, right? And yeah, all those places. Little Jimmy, I'm at 99 subscribers. Oh, congratulations. One more, you had 100. Hope you get there. Elizabeth says Mulholland Drive. Oh, Mulholland Drive. Well, that's over. That's so it's not that way by Pasadena. It's the other way then by by Burbank and NoHo and by Griffith Park and all that kind of stuff. But on the, I guess is it on the Valley side? It's not on the LA side, right? It'd be on the Valley side, I guess. WW says Pacific Missile Test Center. Yep. WW says I have 5 subscribers. Awesome. There's power in the 5. Elizabeth says yes. Yes to the Valley side. I don't remember there being like any city called San Gabriel, but I know there's the San Gabriel Mountains, and those are over by Pasadena. The mountains on Mulholland, those are like the Hollywood Hills, right? Am I wrong? Am I confused? I might be confused. Jolie says I have 10. Ha ha. Twice as many as W. Ha ha, WW. Jolie has more. Twice as many. I just subscribed to you guys, right? I'm embarrassed to ask. I'm pretty sure, right? I sub you guys, right? I mean, because when I click on your name, it just says, there's no way, it doesn't lead me to the link. Now for Jolie, yeah, because it says like pin message, report, remove, put user in timeout, hide user on this channel, remove as standard moderator. Oh, that was and cancel. I can't. So I just was gonna try to go to your channel and make sure I'm subbing you guys. I guess I'll have to do that on my own time. Pretty sure we all sub each other, right? I hope so. Elizabeth says yes again. I don't remember what I asked. I was asking about if it was over by the Hollywood Hills. I think those are just called the Hollywood Hills, but over there by Griffith Park and by the Hollywood Freeway and all that stuff. It runs by there. 134, I guess it is. Anywho. I just don't remember. That's funny though. There can be a little town could just be there, like you don't even know it. You just think it's, you just think it's part of Burbank. You just think it's part of North Hollywood or something, or one of those places. Stuff2, Jolie just saw your plants. Lovely. Elizabeth says by Griffith Park sounds familiar. It's been years. Yeah, I guess I just always call those hills the Hollywood Hills. But I don't know. Elizabeth says it's an upscale burb. WW Rosemead. Okay, Rosemead is back the other way. Rosemead is back by San Gabriel Mountains. I'm just trying to think. I don't think Mulholland goes way over there. I think Mulholland just runs up through the Hollywood Hills, basically. kind of it just I've gone up Mulholland, yeah. But anyhow, that's where San Gabriel is. Okay, well, I thought that's what I was thinking too. WW, but anywho, maybe there's a Mulholland Drive over there too, or maybe it continues over there on that side. Julie says, "Hey, love 72. Aren't they gorgeous? Best one so far. I'm excited." Are these pot plants we're talking about? Because those are tricky, evidently. Because like I said, I had a roommate that grew his own pot in the backyard, and it was the worst pot I've ever smoked in my life. AJ1, good afternoon. Hey there, AJ X1 times 1. Good afternoon to you. We are still in Vegas. We're still in the morning hours here. We got 35 minutes till noon. So I'm assuming you must be driving somewhere at least the Mountain Time zone. So safe travels to you, my friend, out there. Are you going to make it home for New Year's Eve, or are you going to be out on the road? And if you are, be careful out there. WW says Rosemead Boulevard. Yeah, I know where Rosemead Boulevard is. I believe it crosses the 210, right? I'm sure it looks like you're Googling or you're map questing right now, so W, so you'll be able to find it. Jolie says, "Hey, AJ." Anyhow, we're just shooting the shit here today. I'm holding my phone because I was having problems trying to get into horizontal mode for some reason. Never had the problem before. Now all of a sudden it doesn't want to go to horizontal mode. WW was saying there might be something in the lock screen thingy that I need to push or something. Stephanie B2 says you'll get a much better harvest from these, Jolie. I grew my own and it's really good indica, John. Okay, awesome. Settings. W settings. Yeah, I'll check that out afterwards. I don't think I can check it out now because it'll kill the show. You know what I mean? It'll make it like it'll make it stop. So I'll check that out afterwards. AJ X1 says yes over here, and you're in Illinois, Rochelle, Illinois. I thought Vegas was Mountain Time. No, we're Pacific Time Zone. We are Pacific. Arizona is Pacific, even though they don't do the daylight savings time. So that kind of sometimes they're like on the same time as Pacific, and then sometimes they're the same time as Mountain Zone or whatever. Right? I think is how it works out. But then you just go up to Utah, and then they're in the Mountain Time Zone. Utah and Idaho and parts of Montana, I guess. And well, I think some parts of Idaho are Pacific, right? If you get up to Coeur d'Alene, does that go, or maybe that's mountain, and then maybe the mountain time goes into Washington? I don't know. It's a weird line that they do. Jolie says they're over 4 feet tall. Wow, that's amazing. WW says, yep. I forgot what I said that you said. They're saying, yep, that you're answering. What did I say? I don't remember now. Was it about Rosemead Boulevard crossing the 210? I don't know. Elizabeth says, WW, Melissa is gone. She passed, a couple weeks ago. I'm kind of lost. I am so sorry for your loss. Really hard. Sorry to hear that. WW says, hey, AJX1, I'm in Rockford. We are our neighbors. I've been to Rochelle. Isn't Rochelle, or am I thinking of a different town? I forget the highway, but I just remember, isn't there like a TA and a big TA there, and a couple of trucks, I guess, truck stops. I remember one of those places I used to get my hair cut there because one of them had a barber shop, and I remember getting my hair cut there. And I think across the street, I think was Culver's. And I would walk over to the Culvers and get that. If that's the same place I'm thinking of. WW is giving hugs to Elizabeth. I guess that's what that is. W says 5139. I'm not sure if that's your temperature. 51 high, 39 low. I don't know. Elizabeth says, my bestie for 50 years. Thank you, Trucker John. Oh, wow. Yeah, my heart goes out to you. And just hope for the best for you. It's a tough time to get through losing loved ones. Elizabeth says, thank you, W. W says, highway numbers. Oh, was that what it was? Are you familiar with those truck stops I'm talking about? I forget if there was a Pilot or not. I think the one I would go to was the TA, because I think that's where they had the barbershop. And I liked going to that barbershop. She was good, a good barber. I had and I remember the Culvers across the street. WW says US 51, Interstate 39. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was an interstate and a highway. Yeah, that's probably it. AJX1, weather is very poor this winter. I will be westbound hitting 10 degrees. If it rains, we'll have to shut down. Yeah, watch out for those icy roads. Just take it easy, take it nice and slow. And yeah, if it gets where you can't drive, then, find a nice truck stop or something to pull into. So at least you got facilities, because you might be there a while. So know your exits, know where your truck stops are and stuff. WW says all sorts of truck stops. Yeah, I think I was just trying to remember if there was also a Pilot or Flying J, but I do remember I'm pretty sure it was TA that I used to go to because they had a really big parking lot. Julie says, so sorry. Yeah. Listen, I'm okay, no worries. I was there till the end. Yeah, and that's important too. I think, if you could be there and, be there for your friend, It's the things we go through, as we get older. Our family, our older family, and our friends start dying, That's what happens as we go through it. W says, my favorite is Circle K. Yeah, I think across the street over by the Culvers it wasn't Circle K. I think it was, what was that place? They're more prevalent back there in the Midwest and stuff than they are out here. WW says, in fact, there's none here, I don't think. Have you ever been to Dixie Trucker Home? Dixie Trucker Home? I don't believe so. It's not ringing any bells. Flying J? You've never heard of Flying J, WW? They only have like 1 million of them all over the country. WW says Trucker's Home. Dixie Trucker Home. I've never heard of it. Or at least I don't remember it. I mean, if it's just, is that like a truck stop? You're saying Trucker's Home, but is that a truck stop that's in Illinois somewhere? It sounds like it'd be down south, right? It does not ring no bells. WW says McLean, Illinois on Route 6655. I don't think so. If I did, I just forgot about it. But is it cool? AJX1 says, TA is always my choice, but I don't like how they always have angled parking. I prefer the straight parking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they usually do have that angled parking, huh? Yeah, I never really thought about that. Yeah. Elizabeth says, my other friend of 50 years is in South Dakota. Got to get out there. Yeah, go visit. Because you never know. You just never know. So AJ, you're headed west from Illinois. How far are you going? Are you going all the way west? WW says, wait for the summer. The Dakotas are cold in the winter. Yeah, they are. They can get pretty chilly up there. Elizabeth says, snowing like crazy there, she said. Wow. Well, AJX1, have you been to the TA in, is that Louisiana? Right across from the Petro Boy, is it tight? Probably the one that's right off of, is that like Interstate 12? Because like the 10 goes, you know how the 10 kind of goes down into the city, but then you cut straight across. Is that the 12? I forget. It's been a while since I've been through there. And then you've got along that stretch those truck stops in there. I've probably been in there, but it's been quite a while since I've gone through those stretches. Oh, Los Angeles. Oh, Los Angeles. Yeah, I've been there a million times. The one in Ontario off the 10. Have you been to the TA in LA, right across from Petro? Yeah, I've been in there. It can get pretty tight. It gets pretty crowded. Elizabeth says, warm weather going to make ice up in the Sierras. Oh, yeah. Elizabeth says, loves is good. Elizabeth's warm weather going to make ice up in the Sierra. Oh, is that a double post? Elizabeth says, Tehachapi is beautiful. Tehachapi is beautiful. For some reason, we're getting double posts from Elizabeth. Tehachapi's all right. I mean, I've been up there, of course, because I lived right down at the bottom of the hill from there, basically, in Rosemont, California. So on the south side. And then I would cut across there to go, if I was going up into Central California, I would just take 58 across there. And then, I've gone up there just, I guess, socially or whatever over the years. It's all right. It's nice. Elizabeth says, sorry, my internet sucks. That's okay. I mean, it happens. It happens, WW says, wintry mix and snow showers for the next several hours. Wow, so you guys hunker down over there. AGX1 says, yes, we'll be headed to Denver. However, we'll be empty for about 200 miles. So you're going to deadhead for those last 200, huh? What's Denver like? Because this time of year, Denver's weird. It could be snowing, and then it could be hot and sunny, and then it could be cold as shit, Denver is one of the weirdest places, I think, weather-wise, as far as the abrupt changes in weather, And then trying to park down there, that's a little bitch. Their truck stops, they don't have very many places, and they get full. That one Flying J there in Aurora, that's always a fucking zoo. See, they had that one. They took it out. The one over that Pilot. All right, that's gone. And then, they've got, there's Johnson's Corner up to 25 there. And there's a lot of little parking areas like, oh, there's that Love's too. Yeah, there's a Love's. That's not too bad. But and then you go south of Denver, down by not quite to Colorado Springs, but that one there, another Pilot down there. They all get full. They fill up really, really fast. WW says bouncy, flouncy, pouncy, trouncy, fun. Okay. Jolie says it's snowing here. It started. Yay! So there you go. It's a little bit late for the white Christmas. I don't know if you had any snow beforehand. But you just missed the white Christmas, I bet. Maybe you'll have a white New Year's. WW says, furnace just came on. It's set at 67. No wonder I am cold. I haven't turned my heater on yet. But it's not that cold here. I mean, our overnight lows, I guess, got down to 40. I haven't turned mine on yet. I don't know. I guess I'm just waiting to see until it gets really cold. WW says you missed a fun. I don't know what that means. Uh, Elizabeth says, yay. Jolie says, that's the wonderful thing about Tiggers. Oh, because they like to bounce around in the snow. WW says, I have a space heater at my feet. WW says, 5 funds. Okay. Or whatever. WW says, and Deadhead trailers. Okay. AJAX1 says, Denver sucks because you hit Cheyenne to get on the 80 from the 25. And although I like that pilot, the weather says, it's really windy out there too, usually. The one at Cheyenne? Well, that's Wyoming. So you're talking about Wyoming? Anyhow, where am I? 80. 80 from the 25. And although I like that pilot, the weather sucks. Last time I was there, they were threatening to tow people that didn't pay the reservation fee, whatever, reserve parking. Yeah. Yeah, that sucks. Especially if it's like an emergency and you got to stop and the roads are closed. They should let you just park. Jolie says, my furnace is set at 65. I like it cool in the house. Ooh, that's a bit cool. Cool. WW says they bounce. I guess you're talking about Tiggers from Winnie the Pooh, I guess we're talking about. Jolie says, and there's only one. There's only one furnace. WW says, I like it cold at night, but I had a weird one last night. A weird temperature. WW says, should probably turn it up to 68. Yeah. Just, dial it in, man. Dial it in. Till you get right where you want it. Till it's to where you like it. See, that's a great thing about living by yourself is, like, I don't got to worry about, like, if somebody wants, it's too hot or it's too cold, It's just whatever I feel like. Jolie says, yes, I love Winnie the Pooh. Oh dear. What does he always say? He's like, oh bother, or oh dear. He talks funny. That's what I'm trying to say. WW says, laughing out loud. No, Jolie and I had a 4-way with Eggs and Adam, and Andrea was there. So I don't know who Eggs is, and I don't think I know who Adam is. Adam Westish? Who's Eggs? We slept together. Yeah, I know. You get on the phone and you fall asleep. AJX1 says, the bunk heater works wonderfully, but it causes the air in the cab to be dry, which causes my nose to bleed. Wow. Now that is really, that sucks. I mean, I've gotten, where it's dry air. I don't think I've ever got a nosebleed from it, so that sucks. I guess you could get an in-cab air moisturizer thing. What do you call it? Elizabeth says, I'm so glad you found a good place. Thank you, Elizabeth. Well, yeah, I mean, it's all right. It's cheap rent. Could be worse. But yeah, thanks for that. W says, Tony, 5 eggs. Tony, 5 eggs. I don't know what it is. Unless we're just doing the old House Sparks thing of 5 eggs. WW says, like when you fly for a long time. Boy, and then your arms get tired. WW says, fogs up the windshield. The cab heater? That's what you use when you're parked. So it doesn't matter if it gets fogged up or not. Elizabeth says, Vaseline in your nose. Humidifier. Yeah, humidifier is what I was trying to say. I think they have like portable humidifiers that you could use maybe. WW says exactly. Aquaphor. Okay. AJ, thanks, Elizabeth. I will look into those 2 things if problem persists. Yeah, that sucks. I mean, I know that the thing you can get the dry air, but man, I never had it to the point where my nose bled. So yeah, you should get maybe try a humidifier, or I guess a quick fix might be the Vaseline. You don't really put it in your nose. I think you just put it under your nose, like right here. You know, you don't have to put it like way up in your nose. Jolie says Tigger song. The wonderful thing about Tiggers is Tiggers are wonderful things. They're bouncy, trouncy, flouncy, pouncy fun. And then continuing, Jolie says, fun, 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 fun. But the most wonderful thing about Tiggers is I'm the only one. Okay. Jolie likes Winnie the Pooh. Who knew? Who knew? I never knew. WW says, Aquaphor up your nose and on your lips. It doesn't clog pores. And it doesn't go to your hips. I don't know. WW says, I'm the only one. Why do you have a one quotation mark between I and M? I know, it's a typo. I'm just messing with you. So the Aquaphor, you have to actually put that up your nose. I don't like putting things up my nose. WW says, I loved Tigger when I was 11, or I was 11. AJ1X says, okay, maybe with a Q-tip. And WWW says, caps. But I do see a quotation mark, and I think you meant to put just an apostrophe. WW says, when the movie came out, but I read all the books. Okay. When I was a little kid, maybe 5 or 6, I think I liked Winnie the Pooh when I was like 5 or 6. But then I quickly outgrew him. Sorry, guys. Quickly outgrew him. Then I got into the Love Bug movie. I remember watching the Love Bug. I think we watched at the same movie theater. This is back in the days when Victorville and Apple Valley didn't even have movie theater. Well, they did have the El Rancho movie theater. I take it back. They had the El Rancho movie theater, which was a single screen theater. And it would play, it would have like one movie there. So whatever it was, that was it. And then if you wanted to see anything else, you would have to wait for that to come. It might be a few weeks before it got there, or it might not ever get there. So if you wanted to see like Winnie the Pooh or the Love Bug, but at the El Rancho was playing Planet of the Apes or something, let's say just for instance, then you would have to drive down to San Bernardino, which is about 40 miles or whatever. You got to go over a mountain pass, the same mountain pass that I came through the other day, right? And you would go down there, and I think I just remember in my little vague memory being about, maybe 8 years old, I think I saw a Winnie the Pooh movie. And I think these were 2 different trips, because I don't think it was like a double feature. And I don't think my parents didn't have, they like going to movies, but they wouldn't want to go to like 2 movies in a row. So I think we went 2 different trips, and I remember seeing The Love Bug down there in San Bernardino, at the San Bernardino Mall, I think, at the movie theater. I think it was at the mall. And back then, because in 68, I'm not sure if they had the mall. Everything was kind of still... Yeah, they had the mall, I'm pretty sure. But anyhow, I remember I really liked The Love Bug. Way better than... and I think I did have a couple of Winnie the Pooh books, but like I say, by probably 8 or 9, I was way out of my Winnie the Pooh phase. WW says single screen Lawford. Is that where you saw Winnie the Pooh? At the Lawford Theater in Rochelle or whatever? Rockford? WW says, we only had one theater for 30 miles around except in the summer. Then we had a drive-in. That's right. We had a drive-in too. We had the Joshua Drive-In. And I think it was pretty much open year-round because, we don't have the winters that you guys have. And even though we get cold here, and it gets cold in the desert, we get snow. We had 10 inches of snow one year in one snowfall. But I think the Joshua Drive-In, if I remember, I think it was open year-round. So we did have that. We had the Joshua Drive-In, and we had the El Rancho Theater, which is cool. And I love those theaters. Those were, I love that drive-in. But it was a single screen, and so there might be, 4 or 5 movies that come out at the same time, and they're only showing like one movie at each place. So if there was something else you wanted to see, you'd have to drive all the way down to San Bernardino. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, yeah, I remember that. I really loved that movie. I remember, I think, and this is way before the days of, VHS, VCRs and all that stuff. There was no Netflix, nothing. So if you wanted to see a movie over again, you had to go back to the movie theater until it came out on TV, and then you would have to wait till whenever they would broadcast it. But I think we saw Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in the theaters. I want to say like 2 or 3 times because I just love that movie so much. And then every time it would come up on TV, I would always watch it. AJ1, but I haven't watched it in years. I don't think I've watched that movie in 20 years or longer, maybe. But I used to watch it all the time, whenever I could. AJX1 says, "What was your worst experience at a shipper consignee?" Worst experience? I don't know. Who knows? I mean, I've had some where it takes forever to offload, because they're just certain places. They take everything off and they inventory it sort of like piece by piece. I guess apparently that's what I was gathering. And I've been where I've sat in the dock and did my 10-hour. I ended up doing my 10-hour break, I guess, because I was in the dock. And it's kind of shitty because sometimes they don't have the greatest facilities, for you there. I'm just sort of speaking generally because I don't remember exactly, but I think exactly where that was. But I think I had a few instances where, places where it just would take them for freaking ever because they're doing an inventory like piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. And they take their sweet ass time, and it's just ridiculous. It takes 10, 12 hours. Now, that's the exception. I mean, almost every time that I did a live unload, and as it seems like the last 8 years, it seems like most of my deliveries were dropping hooks, but still I did have live unloads, and most of them were pretty good. I mean, it was 20 minutes, a half an hour, maybe an hour, and you're out. But there was a few nightmare places where, it would just take for freaking ever, and you're just like shaking your head, but what are you going to do? WW says, I wanted a stuffed Tigger, but it cost $100. Wow, that's outrageous. Outrageous? Elizabeth says, is it just me, or does downtown Burbank resemble the Truman Show? Beautiful downtown Burbank. Well, I guess it depends on where is beautiful downtown Burbank. Because there's Burbank actually goes on the other side of the Interstate 5, and then it goes on the other side of Interstate 5. And it's kind of like two different places. But the beautiful downtown Burbank part, I don't know. I'm trying to remember what it looks like. It might be a Truman Show. WW says, my little sister got me one after we were both adults. Well, it was nice of her. WW says, Drive-In would show 2. Sometimes we had double features. Yeah, there was a lot of double features back in those days, now that I think about it. Even at the movie theater, there would be double features. That was a long evening. Because you would see the first movie, then they would have intermission, go back to the snack bar, buy some more snacks, get back to your seat for the second movie. So you're there, you're like 5 hours, if you wanted to stay for both movies, because sometimes the movie wasn't that good. You were there really. There was like one movie you were there for, but they were always both like really good movies. Jolie says, our mall theater would have a double feature for kids every Saturday. Our parents would just dump us off there. A nice 3 to 4 hour break for them. We loved it. Got to see movies without parents. Yeah, I remember our theater had like usually had like summer programs or whatever, and you could literally could go see a movie. I remember seeing like they showed all the Planet of the Apes movies that were out like to that point, like not all in one day, but I think like week by week by week. And I remember going to that because I love Planet of the Apes. And I think you could go for like a quarter or something like that, or it was like ridiculous. And you could actually get popcorn and a Coke and a candy for like a couple bucks, you know. It was pretty cool. WW says I was in Burbank. I can't remember much. NBC Studios. Yep, NBC Studios is right there. WW says Mallrats. Yeah. WW says babies running loose ruined malls for the rest of us. Really, the babies were just running loose, huh? Just watch out for the baby. Julie says we basically lived at the mall growing up. Yeah, see, we didn't have malls until like like I said, the closest mall when I was growing up was San Bernardino, which was like 40 miles away, through a mountain pass. Victorville didn't get its first mall until the 80s, like mid 80s. You know, as I grew up in the 60s and 70s is when that was my childhood. That's how, because I'm old, I'm an old boomer here. But, and then they didn't get their first mall. I think it was like 85 or 86. They finally got a mall. And it's still there. The mall is still there. And Apple Valley has a bunch of shopping centers. I don't think they really have a mall. I don't know. But they do have a bunch of nice shopping centers and stuff. But yeah, back in the day, really to do like a lot of times to do like even though I think we had the Sears and Roebuck, but that was like the catalog office. They just had like this little store where they had a few things that sort of like display. I remember it was mainly like lawnmowers and shit like that. And then if you wanted to get anything from Sears, they would have the catalog up on the counter, and you would just look through the catalog, and you could order it right there at the counter, and then they would deliver it. I think you had to come and pick it up there at that place. They didn't even deliver it to your house. I think you had to go. They would say, okay, like they would call you when it was in, and then you would go pick it up. But so to go to any good shopping, you'd have to drive down to San Bernardino. We'd have to drive over the pass. And I think for a while there wasn't even a freeway. It was just the highway. It was just Highway Route 66. And that freeway came in, I think, forget the year when 15 was built. Might have been very late 60s, early 70s. So for a while there, I can remember just riding on the highway. And that made the trip even longer because it was just like windy road through the canyon. And we would go down there, and that's where we would do my back-to-school shopping for clothes. We did a lot of furniture shopping. My parents would buy new furniture. They would go down there to the Sears down there or to, the big, I don't know, the Pennies and May Company and all that kind of stuff. Or May Company? Whatever it's called. But we did a lot of trips down to San Bernardino to do our shopping. And even sometimes big grocery shopping, go down there. So that was really, man, that was the old days. Things have changed a lot since then. WW says Olive and Third looks like every town, Peoria, Illinois. Okay, I'll take your word for it. WW says one of the girls and one of the boys. One for the girls and one for the boys. Okay. Elizabeth says I saw Star Wars and Jaws in the theater. Also Phantasm. I saw Star Wars and Jaws in the theater. Actually, I saw Star Wars at the El Rancho Theater. It was still showing movies there in Victorville. I didn't see Jaws, though, until actually, because I think, when did Jaws come out? Like 73 or something? Or 75? I don't know. But I didn't see Jaws until a long time after it came out. But I did see it in a theater. I remember it was it might have been 1978. I think I was still in high school. Because I remember my friend, Julie Pinard, we went down to like the beach. I'm trying to remember this so long ago. Like we spent the day down there at like Laguna or was it Costa Mesa or Laguna or one of those places. But then we saw they had this theater. It was up on Costa Mesa, I think, and they were showing Jaws in this theater. And by this point, Jaws had been out for a few years. It was already all done with its theatrical release, but they were doing a re-release maybe or something. And I saw it for the first time. And Julie was like, "You haven't seen Jaws yet?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "Oh, I'm going to take you to see Jaws." And we went to see it. And I remember there was this one part, and she was just waiting and waiting and waiting for this one part to see how I would react. And it's like this little like jump scare thing. It's like, I guess it was like underwater, and there's a boat where they're scuba diving, and I guess like I forget, did like a head come out or something, or a eel or something? I don't know, but whatever it was, I did jump, and then she just started laughing her head off because she was waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting because she knew that she was waiting to see if that would make me that would scare me, and then she just laughed, and I remember I was like, "Oh, you know." So anyhow, that was I saw Jaws there, but I didn't see it when it originally came out. It was a few years later. Let's see here. Phantasm. Was that the Disney thing with Mickey Mouse and uh, he's like a wizard or something? I think I saw that at the El Rancho Theater too. I think. WW says we saw a Jaws marathon. That sounds fun. Elizabeth says, "Wow, Jaws marathon. Oh my God." Elizabeth says, "I was born in '66. I was born in 19. Can you tell what year I was born? I was born right in 1960. WW says 3 of our malls have closed. One, the big one, is just barely hanging on. Yeah, malls, have a hard time now. I mean, it seems like most of the malls in California are doing okay, I think. But but with online shopping, with Amazon and all that kind of stuff, that really does affect them. And I know I've done a lot of just this year. I did a lot of Amazon shopping, and I just went to the mall to do some Christmas shopping this year. I almost never go to the mall, and it's kind of sad because the malls, like Jolie said, that's where she grew up, as a kid, and when I was younger, and malls started coming in. Well, I can't say I really spent a lot of time. I mean, we did when we went to San Bernardino, but that was like we were on a shopping trip. By the time they came up to where I lived, I was already in my 20s. So, but I remember shopping at malls a lot. To do shopping for Christmas and birthdays and going to the movies and stuff. Elizabeth's catalog. Yep. Jolie says used to use the Sears catalog to circle all this stuff I wanted. Santa Bring Me. Yeah, yeah. I remember those catalog days. Elizabeth, me too, Jolie. Elizabeth, I love Dana Point and Laguna Beach. Yeah, Laguna Beach is nice, and Dana Point. It's beautiful. Elizabeth says skulls roll out. Yeah, skulls. That's what it is. And I think I jumped. I did a jump scare. What do you call it? Whatever it was. And boy, she just laughed her head off. She thought that was so funny because she was waiting for that point of the movie. WW says born in 1957, year of the '57 Chevy. Elizabeth says no, Fantasia was Disney. Phantasm was scary. Oh. Phantasm. Is that the one where the heads blow up? No, I don't know. WW says, I avoid them at all costs. I don't like Walmart either. Oh, well, you're just a spoily sport. AJX1, did you watch the news about the semi on Interstate 10 yesterday? Driver was forced out of the truck. I did not. Interstate 10. So on what part of what state? Because the interstate goes from California to Florida, basically. I did not see that, though. Jolie says, 1970. 1970. Just a baby. Jolie's just a baby. WW says, truck jacked? I don't know. Elizabeth says, ah. At Jolie. WW says, I think it was Universal. Oh, for Phantasm? I'm not sure if I ever saw that. It's not ringing a bell. WW says, they have the Jaws ride where the truck jumps up. Yeah, that Universal. Is it still there? I remember seeing that ride at Universal Studios. I don't know if it's still there or not. Probably is, right? It's been a while since I've been to Universal Studios. Elizabeth says my ex was born in 57 WW. So just like WW. Yeah, I didn't hear about that, AJ. About that semi on Interstate 10 yesterday. Driver was forced out of the truck. I guess W is wondering if it was a truck jacking. AJ says Texas Harris County driver was ejected from truck after hot pursuit. Wow, he was ejected. After a hot pursuit. So the cops were after him, troopers, I guess. Yeah, I didn't hear about that. Elizabeth says, I have a 66 El Camino in my yard. Oh, I love El Caminos. I had a 59 El Camino in high school. That was my car. That was my ride. Hurst 3-speed shifter on the floor. 327 short block. Holly 4-barrel. They can get up and go. That baby can move. Yeah, I've always liked El Caminos. For some odd reason. I had a 71 El Camino. I like that body style. It's kind of like it's kind of like a Chevy, kind of like a Chevy Malibu, I think. You know, the front end. Super Sport? Was it Super Sport? 68 Camaro. You had a 68 Camaro too? Wow. That's nice. My friend, he got, I guess we were still in high school. His dad bought him this Cherry. Now, granted, at the time, it was only probably like 10 years old, but it was a Cherry, like 67 Camaro, like, it was the, you know, the really hopped up one, the super duper one. Like, it was awesome. It was awesome. And he would never let me drive it. I was really mad at him. He never let me fucking drive that car. He would not let me drive it. I'm like, come on, let me drive it. But he let me drive in it. He would drive me around in it, but he never let me drive it. I'm so mad at him. I'm still mad at him to this day. 70 Corvette. Those are nice. WW says, Lowrider, my girlfriend's dad had on the hitches from both front and back, came over a railroad track and locked the front jack to the rails. Trucks need to be up higher. Yeah, well, if it's a low rider, yeah, but you could, if you just had it, yeah, at the standard height, it would have been fine. If he had hydraulics, he could have bumped it up when he went over the tracks. Elizabeth said, Daddy had a 57 Bel Air, a 58 Vet, and a 65 Vet. Wow. You sound like a car person, Elizabeth. W says, all El Caminos ride low. But not like a lowrider. I mean, there's a difference between a lowrider that has been intentionally lowered, and then the factory road clearance. There is a difference. Elizabeth says the El Camino was a 350, Camaro was 327, 70 Corvette was a 454. A beast. A beast in that light little fiberglass body. I think it could scream. That baby could scream. Yeah, those are some nice cars, man. Elizabeth, when I worked at the local racetrack, I drove a 72 Land Cruiser with a Chevy 350. You know what? I had a friend in college who had a Land Cruiser with the Chevy 350 put in it. and she let me drive the thing, which was great because not unlike my friend Mark, who wouldn't let me drive his Camaro for some reason. But this girl, she would let me drive her. She let me drive her Land Cruisers all over. She's give me the key. She's gave me the keys and said, "Yeah, just drive whatever you want, take it whatever you want." And I was this is when I was going to Palm Desert to College of the Desert, and near Palm Springs, there's I forget what they call it. I'm sure they had a name for it, but there's a big hill, it's a big like a big sand dune thing, and people just take their four wheelers or their off road vehicles, and they climb that they try to climb that hill. So I remember I had me and some buddies in the Land Cruiser, and I was like, and I wasn't really that experienced at that kind of shit, but I was like, we're gonna climb that hill, man, and they're like, all right, let's do it. So I remember, we had hubs locked in and everything, and I just hit the gas, went through the gears as much as wherever I had to go, and I think I got about 3/4 of the way up. This is a pretty high hill. It was all like a sand dune, but it was pretty high. I mean, it was like it had to be a few hundred feet, I think. And I remember making it about 3/4 of the way up, and then I started kind of losing it, and I was afraid that I was going to lose steam, and then I don't know. I was kind of envisioning that we were going to fall back over it, or that we were just going to get all sideways and then end up rolling or something like that. So I remember getting about 3/4 of the way up, and I think I started spinning my tires or something, and then I just went ahead and I think I don't remember. It's been so long, but I think I might have just put it in neutral and kind of rode the brake and back, and I just backed down. That was as far as I could go. Like I said, I wasn't really experienced at hill climbing like that, and I didn't want to wreck her car. I didn't want us to get it, like a rollover or something. But we got pretty far for my, didn't make it to the top. But we got pretty far, It was kind of fun. Everyone was all like screaming and like hooping and hollering and everything. AJ1 says, "I'm pretty sure if you have those antique cars today, you would need to work on them yourself. Otherwise, pay top dollar to find someone." Yeah, that's those cars are getting older and older and older, and harder to find the parts for them and people that can work on them and stuff. WW says, "I had a Delmont with a 455. What is a Delmont? Is that some sort of Mopar?" Elizabeth says, "Yes, it did." W says 1973. W says, "I had an 81 Firebird, had an Olds or Buick engine, 405. I remember another one of my friends, Danny Jensen. Well, I had a few friends actually that got, two. Okay, no, there was a few people that I knew that got when it was like 77, 78, 79, the Firebirds that came out. Of course, Smokey and the Bandit really, was a big movie, and everyone loved that car. And I think, I know there was one guy who was from a rich family, and he first they got like he showed up in my yard at my house, and he had in a brand new, probably, I guess this is a 77 this year, El Camino. And he's like, "Hey, come on, Fowler, I'll take you a drive in my new car." So went for a drive, and I go, "This is really nice. This is really cool." But I guess my reaction maybe wasn't good enough. So the next thing I knew, he comes over a couple weeks later in a brand new Firebird. Like with the T-top and everything. It was like it was pretty much like the Smokey and the Bandit one. And I go, "What happened to your El Camino?" And he goes, "I didn't like it." And so we went tooling around in that thing, and that thing hauled ass. That thing was awesome. That Firebird Trans Am, And then I had another friend. It was around the same time, maybe it was over the summer between our junior and senior years. I remember he made a deal with his dad because he wanted to get a new car, and his dad said, "Well, whatever you earn over the summer, I'll match it, and we'll go get you, and you can get a car with that." And so he worked his ass off, and I think he made $4,000 over the summer doing construction work or whatever he was doing. I forget, various jobs. And so his dad matched him. So they had 8 grand, and this is like 1978, I think, or so. Yeah, and or was it 79? Maybe might have been 79. But anyhow, he got this brand new Camaro Firebird, but it wasn't the Trans Am. It was just like the standard Firebird. But he bought. I think they were able to buy it like brand new, pretty much. I think just cash, 8 grand. And it was a beautiful car though, and I remember he took us for a ride in it, and it was still fast. It wasn't like quick fast like the Trans Am, but it still got top end speed. Was I remember we were on the 15 freeway in Devore Cutoff down in going down below, and we looked around. There was no traffic, no cops, and he's like, "Let's see how fast this thing will go." And I mean, I think he took it up to like 160. And just thing was just smooth. It was just smooth as all could be. It was like a Cadillac, just a smooth ride. 160. You didn't even feel like you were doing 160. And it was like me and him and a few other buddies. We were actually going down below to see Animal House, and but we're all like woo, hooping and hollering, because that was pretty fun. And then he slowed down. He just wanted to see how fast it would go. Elizabeth said, amazing, 8,000-pound. Worn wrench, full roll cage, lockers, 4-inch lift, 2 low transfer case for rock crawling. Wow. Yeah, see, the one that I was in, I don't think it had all that stuff. And, I mean, it was lifted. It was a Land Cruiser. It was lifted. And it had, big knobby tires on it and stuff like that. And it had the 350 V8 in it. But I don't think it had they didn't have a roll cage, and it didn't have, I think it had lift kit. But I don't know about the 2 low transfer case. Maybe it did. I think I just put it in as low as gear as I could. Like I said, I did not have a lot of experience with hill climbing, but I did it anyhow. And I was, like I said, I got about 3/4 of the way, and I think it was starting to get a little fishtaily, and I was worried I was going to end up getting sideways, and then I just envisioned him like we're going to roll down the hill or something. So I backed it off. WW says, my mechanic loves older cars. Elizabeth says, I took it to Star Lakes Immigrant Wilderness Strawberry. Awesome. WW says, Oldsmobile Delmont 88. Oh. I remember Oldsmobile 88, but I don't remember Delmont. Didn't they have like a Cutlass 88 or some other 88 besides Delmont? Delmont's throwing me. WW says, mine wasn't Trans Am. Yeah, my friend, like I said, I had one friend that had just the regular Firebird, and the other friend had the Trans Am. But they were awesome cars. Delta 88. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. I never heard of a Delmont 88. But the Delta 88, yeah. Those were nice cars. That's when they just made big motors. Gas was 25 cents a gallon, 30 cents a gallon at the most. Before, OPEC and all that bullshit. Elizabeth says, I've done that on a dirt bike, Trucker John. Like climbed a hill. Yeah, they had those hill climbing places. I was never really a big dirt biker. I had a couple dirt bikes. Well, actually, you know what? I never actually owned my own dirt bike. That's the thing. I remember I had a friend's dirt bike. It was like some family friend actually that let me have, or I don't remember what the deal was. So somehow I had his. It was like XR75 or something like that, a Honda. Really nice little bike. And I rode the hell out of that for like one whole summer. For some reason, it was at my house for like this whole summer. It wasn't ours, and then they got it back. We didn't steal it, but somehow it was at my house. And then I remember I went to there was a garage sale, and it was just a Honda, like 100 or something. It was like a street bike. And I remember I bought it. I went into, I got some money from my dad. I go, I think they wanted like $25 for it or $40 or something like that. And it ran good. It was in good shape. Everything was great about it. But it was like a 1970, that 1970 style bike. And this was probably, this was only, well, shit, maybe this was only like 1972. So it was only a couple years old. Maybe it was older than that. But whatever, maybe it was a few years older than that. But the thing was really a great bike. And I kind of like made it into a dirt bike. I kind of like changed some stuff around on it. I mean, it didn't have the same torque. It didn't have the same, as that Honda. I think I'm trying to remember what was it called, XR75 or something like that. But and I remember I rode the hell out of that thing for like a few years, and that's all I ever had. I wish my dad would have bought me a regular dirt bike. Because sometimes we would go out dirt biking with like he had friends from work, and we would just go out with them and just use their bikes. I don't know why. My dad made plenty of money. He could have bought us all dirt bikes. I don't know why I didn't. WW says its full name was the Delmont 88, and it was entry-level model for those buyers aspiring to own their own full-size Oldsmobile, but were saddled with a tight budget. That sounds like a Wikipedia, whatever. If I ever heard it, if I ever heard one. Are you familiar with those bikes, Elizabeth? Remember back around, or I guess early 70s, they had those dirt bikes, those Honda dirt bikes, and they were kind of small. They were like, I think they had like a 75 and a 100, and they had a 125 cc. And I forget if it was called XR or XY or X or maybe whatever it was, and then it was like. And I think the one I was on was a 75 or maybe a 100. Because I think, like I said, we had friends, they had everything, but that was me. Okay, all right, Mr. Writer. You should write for Wikipedia. No. But anyhow, we had that one for that one summer, and I loved that bike, and I don't know why my dad didn't buy me one. Like I said, he made plenty of money. Could have bought me a dirt bike. Elizabeth says yes. Yeah, I think those were like, those were the shit back then for dirt bikes, those little Hondas, those little Honda dirt bikes. XL, yeah, there you go. That's I guess it was XL. And I think I had the XL75, like for that summer. WW says, I mean that I was on a tight budget back then. Okay. You and a lot of other people. So the Delmont is actually different than the Delta 88. Elizabeth says Enduros are dirt street. Yeah, Enduros, but I don't think these were Enduros, were they? Maybe they were. But I know the Enduros because they make them street legal enough where you've got like your mirrors and your signals and like a headlight and a tail light. Just enough to make it street legal, and then everything else on it is just dirt. Like it's got the suspension and it's got the fenders, and everything, and it's got the really torquey engine motor on it. But these XLs I don't know, were they Enduros? Because I don't remember mine having like lights and shit on it, and signals and shit like that. I think it was just straight dirt bike. But I don't know. Mini bikes. Yeah, and these were like, I guess you could call them mini bikes. Because sometimes mini bikes is sort of a generic term because sometimes they had those mini bikes that were just, those ones that were kind of like homemade looking. Like, it was just like that kind of square frame. And I had that too. Now that I remember, I did have one of those actually. That was in 1970. So I guess a couple years ago, somehow, I don't know what happened to it. Because we lived out in Apple Valley, on this ranch. It was like an old ranch, or I guess you'd call it, that we lived at. Because I remember there was a barn and there was a big like water retention basin that they would use to for some of the irrigation. There was these horse corrals, and there were actually horses in it that weren't ours. They were like, we just rented the house. It was like a farmhouse, I guess, or a ranch house. And there was another little house next to it. It was empty. And I remember we would go hang out over there, and we had the house that we were just renting, but it was sat on this big kind of ranch property. And the owners actually they had a barn, and they had corrals, and they still had some horses they were keeping there. So we didn't really take care of the horses. They would come by, they took care of their own horses. But I remember we would go visit the horses and stuff. And I had one of those little dirt bikes, just that little like those little metal frame ones, where they just weld a frame together and put like a Briggs and Stratton motor on it. It wasn't like a Honda or anything like that. I think it was just like a Briggs and Stratton yay pull type of thing. And but it was pretty fast. It was fun. I was like 10 years old, so it was like totally fun. And I used to ride the fuck out of that on that ranch property. So I did have that. And I don't know what happened to it, because we moved so much. My parents were crazy. We moved every fucking year, and I hated moving. That's why to this day I hate moving. But anyhow, and so I think when we moved, they got rid of it because they didn't want to move it or whatever. Whatever, I don't know. I had that, so. But anyhow, W says, lots of friends had mini bikes. I never got one. I was a poor child. Yeah, well, that sucks. Especially when you live out in the desert, there really is no excuse to not have a mini bike or a dirt bike. So at least I did have some. I did have a few years there, but I never got good enough. Like I had friends that they were riding motocross. They were out, actually like racing, competitively and shit like that. And I never got that good to do that. Elizabeth says, "Oh, W says I lived in town. We lived all over the place." In town, out of town, in the mountains, in the desert. Elizabeth says, those were the days. Yeah, it was pretty fun. We had fun times living out in the desert, and you had open spaces, and you could just ride your dirt bike all over the fucking place, But, so I guess I had about, I don't know, maybe about 3 years there where I was able to ride a mini bike, or what do you want to call it, little dirt bike, probably from 70 through 72. That was probably all I had, really. And then after that, it would just be if friends had bikes and we were out riding, and it seems like there was always an extra bike, or you would take turns on one of them or whatever. Doing that. And then I bought my own, but it wasn't until I was in my 20s, like mid-20s, I bought the three-wheeler. Remember they had the three-wheelers before they kind of like outlawed them? I had one of those, a Honda 250. And I didn't get that. I wish I would have got the 250R. For an extra, I think, was it maybe $1,000 or something? You could have got the 250R. And I had two buddies. They bought 250Rs, and I just bought the regular 250. And man, and then they let me ride their 250s, and then they rode mine because they wanted to see what the difference was. And man, it was really like night and day. I mean, I could not even keep up with them when we would ride together. Out a lot of times we would go to the riverbed and ride our three-wheelers out there, and those 250Rs were just the torque on them, the gearing is so fast, so much better on it, and I just kicked myself. I was like, damn it! I wish I would have sprung for an extra whatever. Maybe it was $2,000 more. I don't know, but I should have tried to get the 250R instead of being a cheapskate. But anyhow. Elizabeth says, I still have my motorcycle license. I never got a motorcycle license and then I did, in my 20s, I bought a Kawasaki, I think it was just a 250 LTD. It was a nice bike. It was used. I bought it used. Because it was a 250. It seems like it was bigger because it looked like a big bike, but I think it was just a 250. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it might have just been a 250, but it was kind of a big bike. It had a big seat on it, and a big. It wasn't a chopper or anything like that, but it was just a nice road bike, just a road cruiser, motorcycle type thing. And I remember I cruised up. I lived down in the desert, down in Apple Valley, but I remember taking it on some trips, like up to the mountains, up to Lake Arrowhead, up to Big Bear, and that was fun. It was fun taking a bike in the summertime up in the mountains or to the beach. I did that, and so that was fun. But I never did get a motorcycle license, and I never got. So I don't know. I guess maybe I was supposed to, but I just had my not a CD. I didn't have a CDL then. I just had my regular, driver's license, and I don't know. No one ever said anything. WW says almost died in a motorcycle crash. Yeah, motorcycles are pretty dangerous. It's like every now and then I think about getting one now, and then I see how my physical abilities have deteriorated just to walk. Sadly, just walking to the car or walking across the parking lot, where I'm sort of like wobbling around like this old man, and then I'm like, "You're gonna get a motorcycle, right? Yeah, right. You kill yourself." Elizabeth says, "I wish it would snow here. That would be nice. Get some snow." Jolie says, "We had a mini bike and a go-kart. I wasn't allowed to drive them, had to stick to my green machine. My sister got to. She's 7 years older than me. They were gone when I was old enough." I never had a go-kart, but we used to go go-karting all the time. I used to love to go go-karting at the go-kart place. WW says, "Have you seen the new helmets with black windscreens? They look kind of scary. Can't see the face." Yeah, I've seen those. Have been out for quite a while. I mean, they were where it's just really dark tinted and stuff. Things of this nature. Elizabeth says, "My landlord is selling his 3-wheel Harley." Oh, one of those. I guess those would be a little bit safer to ride, than a 2-wheeler. As far as like if I had a Harley or even, a Honda Goldwing or whatever, I guess I would just be afraid that if I fell, because you always fall. I mean, even on my Kawasaki 250 LTD, I did lay it over maybe twice, I think, just really super slow speeds, where I was on, there was some sand on the road and the back tire just sort of slides out from under you because you just sort of hit the throttle with a little bit and where you shouldn't have, and you didn't see the sand and you're going around a little curve or a turn. And that happened to me twice, I think, that I can remember. Really slow speed, and I don't think I scratched the bike up. I think maybe there might have been a scratch because you hate to get those scratches, right? But I was like 25, and I could just bounce right up, and it was no big deal. I'm afraid that even just a little lay down like that at my age and in my physical condition, that I'm not saying I would die, but I think I would get probably fucked up, just from that. Let alone if it was any type of major accident, that would probably kill me. WW says, "We used to go to the go-kart track even as adults." Yeah, me too. I love go-karting, and now they have a lot of the indoor karting with those little cars. Some of them are gas powered, some of them are electric, I think, that I've gone to. Those are fun. I've taken the kids to that. It's been a while. It's been a few years actually since we've gone, but we used to do that all the time, and that was fun. I love go-karting. I'm just a speed freak. No, I'm not really, but I like driving. I like driving and riding and stuff like that. But I don't think I could do it anymore. I mean, I could go go-karting, I guess, but I don't think I could ride bikes and stuff. WW says, girlfriend, the same one whose dad had the El Camino, had 3-wheel Harley, took it out in a parking lot to practice riding and crashed it into a car. She has a sidecar on her husband's bike. Wow. So the dad had a three-wheel Harley and he crashed it. Was he drunk? What the fuck, you know? And then the girlfriend has a sidecar on her husband's bike. Well, isn't she fancy? WW says gave up learning to ride herself. No, she what? No, she. Elizabeth says it's beautiful. I'm too old for a motorcycle. The three-wheeler is nice, but it don't have any. I don't have any interest in being windblown. Yeah, I know all this stuff. You know, it sounds, you know, like we sort of think about it like when we were young, and everything's different then, right? And it's like we want to, you know, just be comfortable, I guess, in our old age. WW says she was trying to learn how to ride the Harley. Okay. So she drove her dad's three-wheel Harley, and she crashed into a car. Well, that's just stupid. That's just stupid. You should know the basic controls and how to stop the thing, how to steer the thing before you hit something. To me, that's just someone who thinks they're a hot shot and they don't want to take the little steps needed to learn something. Elizabeth says two yippers. Yeah. WW says no, her husband bought her the three-wheeler so they could ride together. Yeah, well, she should have taken the time to learn how to stop the goddamn thing before she hit a car. That's all I'm saying. You know, I could just envision her just hopping on and go, I can do this. And guns it. And then it's like, I'm going to stop this thing or something. I might be totally wrong in that, but that's just how I'm envisioning it. WW says, that's what she was trying to do, learn. Well, but you don't wreck a car into a car. That's stupid. You don't just start driving. You got to take baby steps. First, you got to familiarize yourself with the brakes and how the brakes work. And you got to just go slow. To me, if she ran into a car, it's because she didn't know how to operate the thing. I mean, there has to be some sort of little, you know, thing where you just familiarize yourself with the instruments. She lost control because she's an idiot. She's probably a fucking idiot. She's probably going too fast, too soon, before she could learn, you know, exactly how to slow that thing down. She sort of is laughing out loud. See? I pegged it. I know what I'm talking about. Whatever. I hope she was. I mean, I guess she's okay. I hope everyone's okay. But you know, if you're getting on something for the first time, it's all new to you. Then you know you need to really familiarize yourself with the brakes and the steering, and then you could just go really slow. You don't just gun it. You know, you just kind of take it slow. Be in an area where there are no cars. You shouldn't be out on a street or even a parking lot where there's a bunch of cars. You need to probably need to find a place where there's nothing else around you, so that if you do lose control, you're not going to run into anything. WW says she came out of it okay, but too afraid to learn how to ride, and her husband is a biker. Yeah, so she probably, you know, thought she could keep up with him or something. Elizabeth says, I better get going. Going to check the news. Thank you, Trucker John. Well, thank you, Elizabeth, for hanging out with us. Always glad to see you in the chat and around the other chats. And go check the news. Make sure that, you know, that there isn't a zombie apocalypse breaking out somewhere. Hey, there's Adam Westris. So one leaves and one comes in. Thanks, Elizabeth. We got 9 watching and 9 thumbs up. That's a pretty good ratio. Make sure you hit the thumbs up for me. We got Adam Westris saying hi and hey. And everyone's saying hey to Adam. Thanks for being here. We're just out here shooting the shit, talking about dirt bikes and cars and the 70s and all that shit, Sort of reminiscing, I guess, about the old days as we get into a new year. It's kind of funny. It just kind of organically went that way. We've been talking basically about the past, which is a good thing. Not too much about 2023. More about our childhood years. For me, going back to the 60s and the 70s. For Jolie, mainly the 70s and the 80s, I think, and everywhere in between, I guess. So we're looking back as we go forward. WW movies, yeah, we were talking about movies a lot, movie theaters and all that kind of stuff, things of this nature. WW says, Adam Westris says, hey, Jolie Cool just woke up, was up late playing PUBG with 5 eggs. Here's 5 eggs again. You guys were talking about 5 eggs earlier. I thought you were talking about like when Hal Sparks says 5 eggs. So I don't know who 5 eggs is. And I don't know what PUBG is. Adam says, and chatting with Wes, laughing out loud. WW says, hey, Adam, PUBG? WW says, I went to bed at 5 Central, I think. Oh, 5 Central, that was 3 Pacific. That's when I went to bed. I was watching, after Liberal Dan last night, I was watching Pennyworth. I watched about, 3 or 4 episodes of that, I think, last night. And I think it was about 3 when I stopped. Or just before 3. And I went to bed. I said, I better get to bed. So, if you guys haven't watched Pennyworth, it's a pretty good show. It's, it's part of the DC universe. It's Alfred Pennyworth. That's, Batman's butler. And this is sort of like the backstory or whatever you want to call it to Alfred when he was younger, and he shows that he's like an SA. He was in the SAS, which is the English, British branch of military. It's supposed to be like they're really badass dudes. They're like special forces type of thing. And then so he gets out, and then he starts his own little security company. So there's all these little adventures with him and his couple of his war buddies, and they kick ass. So it's pretty cool. WW says, was I watching Liberal Dan? I think I was. Yeah, you were in there. Tried to call, but the phones were not working. GW, were you that fucked up? You don't remember? I remember seeing you in there. Adam Westris says, PUBG is an online shooting game. Well done. 5 eggs is from HBL Radio Nation. HBL Radio Nation. I never heard of that. I don't know what HBL Radio Nation is. But, hey, I can't know everything. People. I can't know everything. The people. W says, Diane Russell's significant other. Oh, Diane Russell. Is she the mod on Randy Rhoads? Who's Diane Russell? Or is she just a chatter on Hal Sparks? Is he just a sparkler, I guess? There's a couple of Dianes. I think there's a Diane that mods Randy Rhoads and Nicole Sandler, but that's not Diane Russell. That's Diane somebody else. Finkelstein or something. So anyhow, she has her own show. Oh, she does she? Everyone has their own goddamn show, don't they? Diane Russell. I've never watched it. Is it YouTube? I should check it out. Adam Washington says, HBO Radio Nation. They have a show. Also, Diane and Tony are sparklers. Who's Tony again? Tony Baloney? So where is this? At HBO Radio Nation. Is that on YouTube or is that just an at thing? WW 5 eggs. Adam Bush's 5 eggs. So Tony is 5 eggs. Okay, whatever. All right. I'm getting confused here, but I get it now. There's Jolie. She drops a link. HBO Radio Nation. It's YouTube. And yeah, I'll check that out sometime. I will definitely check it out. Adam Bush says YouTube. Jolie says they are on tonight. Oh. What time tonight? Let's see, what day is today? Thursday. I'm gonna try to make myself dry. I haven't driven in so long because I just don't feel like it. I've been feeling sick and weak and tired, nanny, like a big wimpy baby. So I got to make myself get out and drive today. But maybe I can find time to check it out. WW says snow is still falling. Snow is still falling. Alrighty. Well, alrighty then. I hope you don't get snowed in. I hope you got some provisions. And I don't think your toilet guy is going to come anytime soon, probably. Adam Bush says 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. Oh, wow. So less than 2 hours. Are they East Coasters? Or whatever. Jolie says every Thursday night before Hal. Oh. Well, son of a gun. No wonder you guys don't come to my live stream when I do shows before Hal on Thursdays. You're over there. WW says, I have to go and pick him up. He lost his license. Jesus Christ, how do you lose your license? I know, I'm just kidding. There are multiple ways, apparently. Anywho, so Adam Washtish, how you been doing, man? Jolie says, there is a Diane Russell that mods for Randy Rhoads. Different Diane Russell, though. Oh, so it was the same name. Yeah, I remember seeing that name, but it's different. Isn't that funny? There's two Diane Russells on the YouTubes that we see. I guess there's only so many names to go around, you know. We run out. There's a bunch of Trucker Johns, apparently. But there's only one Trucker John live stream. No, I don't know. Probably more than one. And what says, really? I thought she was the same. I wonder. Now I wonder. WW says, lots of West Webbs. Are there really lots of West Webbs? I haven't seen any other West Webbs on the internet or on YouTube. Not that I've been looking, you know. I don't know. But anyhow, okay, so here we are, 2023. We're about to go to 2024. Do you guys make New Year's resolutions or not? WW says, one is even a musician. Jolie says, this Diane Russell lives in Michigan, is married to 5 eggs, Tony. Thank you. And she does her YouTube show with her friend Brian Gallagher. Not to be confused with Gallagher, who I believe passed away recently, somewhat recently. Okay. All right. Awesome. WW says exactly exactly. Jolie says she is also a musician. Wow. Multi-talented musician and apparently a live streamer. All right, cool. I'll have to check her out, or that channel out, because it sounds like there's more than one person in there. Yeah, so I was just wondering about New Year's resolutions, or does anybody do that? I really don't do them myself. There's been some years where I kind of wrote things down and, you know, you just forget about it. But I do like to think about, you know, it's a new year. What are my goals for the year? What do I want to get accomplished for the year? And then, of course, I never, I just, you know, I forget about it or whatever. But I do take about 5 minutes to think about it. So I guess maybe for 2024, like for me personally, what do I want to do? I think I just want to save up money and then maybe go to Thailand and get into some new teeth and have a nice little vacation down there. That's kind of my goal for 2024. That sounds like a good goal. WW says, our grief counselors want us to share our hopes for the new year at our next meeting. Okay. So be prepared. They gave you some warning. They gave you some time to think about it. Yeah, think about the hopes for the new year. I mean, of course, WW says, I can't think of any. You can't think of any? You don't have any hopes for the new year? Maybe getting that Mach-E, or maybe not getting the Mach-E? Maybe getting a new toilet? Of course, that'll be this year, I guess. I mean, I think in the big picture of things, or on a world level, I hope that, fucking Russia would get the fuck out of Ukraine. They don't belong there. This war will end as soon as they leave. I hope that Israel can wipe out Hamas so that Hamas will no longer exist and stop with all their shenanigans. So that's like the big stuff, I guess. I hope that, I hope that Joe Biden wins the presidential election. I hope that the Democrats take back the House. I hope that the Senate, the Democrats keep the Senate and maybe pick up some seats would be nice here and there. And that's what I'm hoping for in 2024. And then, just general stuff, WW says 2025 when they have the Tesla charging connection. Okay, so you're going to wait another year, past that into 2025. Yeah, there's no hurry really on the EVs because they're just going to keep getting better and better and better. So the longer you wait, I mean, up to a point. I mean, if you waited 20 years, then you're gonna. That's kind of be kind of silly. But if you wait 3, 4, 5 years, the technology is going to be 3 or 4, 5 years better than it is now. Much, much, much better. So, at this point, there's no real hurry getting into an EV. And over these next 3 to 5 years, and of course, onward, it's going to just keep getting better and better and better. But I'm saying you don't have to wait 20 years. But, you could wait 3, 4, 5 years, and you're going to have that much better. It's going to be exponential, the technology growth, And WW says exactly again. That's twice he's used that nomenclature. Must be really liking it. So anywho. So no EV, no Mach-E for WW in 2024, but hopefully 2025. For 2024, we're just hoping that the new toilet works really good. That's what I'm hoping for WW. That 2024 will be a year of really good flushes. Because you got that new toilet, and gosh darn it, it better flush good. Adam Bush is a new toilet? Fantastic. Yeah, WW is getting a new toilet, so it's a big day. It's a big day over there in Rockville. WW says, unless my Mariner breaks down, then I'll buy whatever I can get. So if the Mariner breaks down, it's on that pickup truck chassis, because you're a trucker. If it breaks down, then what are you going to do? Because you don't want to buy the EV till 2025, so you're going to need a car that gets you by for a year, basically, a year and a half. So what would you do? I guess you could find just a nice used car somewhere. WW says it's in the back of my vehicle. WW says waiting to be installed. It's just sitting there waiting to be installed, and then 2024, year of good flushes. All right, guys. Hey, look, we've gone over 2 hours. I think I'm probably going to call it a day. WW says, sorry, Adam, don't want to make you jealous. Because if I recall, I believe Adam was using a bucket. So yeah, let's not rub it in about the new toilet there, Wes. You know. WW says, about time for all things considered. Oh, you going over to PBS? To those boring people on PBS that talk like this? Hi, I'm Steve, whatever my fucking name is. And here's the headlines for today. Oh, yeah, NPR, that's right. PBS is TV, NPR radio. Yeah, I know. Hey, there you go, Jolie. Thanks for dropping that. Buy me a coffee. Because I like coffee. Well, there's no worries. I look forward to and in buckets too. Yeah, hey, maybe that's a good wish for 2024 to do that, to get out of the buckets and into some indoor plumbing. That would be awesome. That would be an awesome thing for 2020. See, it's all different. I mean, we all have different wants and needs, and it's it's not all big picture stuff. And for you, that's probably a big picture thing, right? To get a toilet. WW says Steve Inskeep. That's the guy. That's the motherfucker. You tell him I said that. No, I'm just kidding. Great people over there at NBR. Great people. Don't get me wrong. But anywho, I'll go ahead and call this show. Maybe over the weekend, like I said, maybe New Year's Eve, I'll try to do a little something if I can get a good spot, and we can look at some festivities going on here in Vegas, because it's going to be, usually gets pretty wild here. At least, like fireworks and people partying. They close down parts of the strip, and people just are out getting all crazy. WW says, little brother had a flush toilet on his Foursquare, drained out into the field. That sounds pretty gross. I don't know what a Foursquare is, but anyhow. So yeah, maybe I'll see you guys on New Year's Eve at some point. If you guys aren't doing anything, and we can hang out for New Year's Eve, bring in the new year together. And then we'll be back Tuesday and Thursday, right here on the YouTube channels. Tuesdays, Thursdays, and impromptus like New Year's Eve. But if I don't see you until next year, I hope you guys have a good New Year's Eve. Stay safe out there. There's a lot of crazies, so just make sure you don't party too hardy, and try to stay safe. Stay away from the crazies out there, and then we'll see you in the next year. All right. WW says house, 4 rooms and square, 2 bedrooms, living room, and kitchen. Okay. All right. Thanks for that clarification. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you always hanging out and chatting with you. So we'll see you maybe New Year's Eve. We'll see. If not, we'll see you next year. All right. Thanks so much. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.